What's up, you guys? Good morning. This is Mantis giving a little update. Let's go through some Bitcoin, some ETH, some Sol. Let's start on the higher time frames. Let's get after it. On our weekly time frame for Bitcoin, we can see we're not green anymore on the candles. We're losing green, which means we're losing steam, right? Happens before we get big sell-offs. On the weekly, we've lost that green outline on the candle. Interior of the candles has started turning red. Last week, we lost the green color on the Mantis band. Now we're getting a red candle, albeit with a white outline, meaning it's not as bearish as a completely red candle. But it certainly looks like we could be in this sort of transitional period here, going into at least a handful of weeks of descent before we start to move upwards again. Other bit of bad news here is this current weekly candle. We're finally starting to see some shift here on indicator one, where we're getting the red candle here, or red bar showing up, telling us that momentum is below zero, which is bearish, and it's starting to roll over and move down again. So is bearish momentum with sort of like an increasingly bearish tone, which is not good if we get this candle closing down here. You can see this sort of similar thing happened right here. We're below zero. We get that turn red again right here, and then we get this push down. Not an ideal kind of scenario when we're looking to be ideally long in the market. So if this were me and if I were holding any spot, I would be probably exiting that spot right in this region here where we've lost the green color. We lost this zero mark here on the weekly on indicator one. This is starting to get kind of scary. I'd probably exit here just because the opportunity cost of holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What was that? 10? 10 more weeks of basically just been ranging. Not something I would necessarily want to sit there and hold personally, but everybody's different. Everyone's got their thing. So what I would look at here, though, is if this closes below the Mantis band, now we're starting to expect a stronger move to the downside, maybe some sort of dead cat bounce, some sort of rally, and then possibly even that was the first part of our rally here, or of our bull market. Maybe it wouldn't go quite this low, right? Maybe we kind of chop, just come down, take the lows, reclaim, and then we're off to the races again. Something similar to this would be nice to see. We just have to see what happens as we get more information to develop in the market. So for now, on the weekly, Bitcoin's certainly not looking great. On a daily time frame, we are looking like we're going to get some nuky stuff happening here. I've been publicly bearish on my Twitter since back up in here, and now it's looking like it's just playing out. So we're down here. We are in bearish territory, right? We've got this red indicator two, and we're sort of in the same position as on the weekly, where this may just start rolling over and give us that additional red candle telling us that, hey, lower is more likely than higher. I was talking about this yesterday on ETH on the daily, how we had the Mantis band was red, rolled over, and we had this rejection here. So I'm expecting this momentum wave, this little, seems more like a corrective wave to me, where we get the green momentum saying we should be going up, but we're not going up like we typically would with green momentum, right? Instead, we're getting more of like a sideways at best kind of chop, telling me that this is definitely a bearish market. And when this starts to roll over, we're probably going to sell off pretty hard. So I'm still staying out of the market here, looking for that rejection, which seems like, as of right now at least, that we're getting it. Let's take a look at Sol. As I know, we're a bunch of Sol bros. Looking at this here on the, let's go to weekly first. Weekly, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is not looking stellar. We definitely don't want this candle to close fully red. We don't want this bar to be turning red. We're losing steam. Granted, we are above zero still on indicator two, telling us that yes, we could overall still be bullish. I'm hoping we're somewhere in here. All right, we got this first little wave, it corrects, and then we get our pump. I'm hoping best case scenario, we kind of got this wave, descends, and then we get the real pump as we get into something like that, and it just absolutely sends to all time highs and beyond. So that's what I'd be looking for in a much higher time frame. But as far as right now, what we're getting is an indicator that's telling us the market is weak. We've turned gray back here, and nothing meaningful has really happened since then on the Mantis band. We crossed below zero way back here. We got another nice pump. And then we came back and we're below zero again. So that was another sign of weakness here, saying on a higher time frame, it's not looking the most promising. And we've just kind of gotten this downward sort of choppy stuff that's not looking great on a weekly. We went to white outlines. Now we're fully red bar. We're below the Mantis band. So as far as the higher time frame goes on Solana, I'm looking to see further correction before I would want to employ more capital. And the nice thing is that just means cheaper Sol, because I do believe that this is going to be probably the next ETF after Ethereum, and we're going to start to see a huge rally. Now, whether that chops all the way down into here, kind of into this block of stuff here, or that's better into here where we saw it was a pretty key area here, right around that $100 psychological level right there. That sort of spot, come in there, chop around a little bit, and then just absolutely go on a murderous run. Would be my ideal kind of scenario for Sol. So loading up somewhere around 100 most likely, but we're going to wait and see what happens and how the indicators look when we get there. On the daily, we can see we're at the bottom of what might be a pretty erase all this stuff, go back to the daily. What we're looking at on the daily, definitely a big decline from our recent highs. The indicator two still being bearish here, getting this rollover. Really would have wanted to see more climb here on Solana, at least during the green wave of momentum here on indicator one. We didn't get it. We're below that descending red Mantis band. I wouldn't be shocked if we come lower. From a 4-hour perspective, we're looking at Solana and we're strong downtrend, and that's sort of the same look we've got here. Big, strong downtrend. Now, when we look at this one, we saw one little pop of green on indicator two, showing that, all right, maybe we're going to exit this downtrend. And then it turned red again, and we stayed red for a while. The next exit of shorts, or next entry of longs, would have been all the way down here, which is exactly what we're looking to do, right? Is buy at the bottom when we know it's very likely that it's an actual bottom. When we look at Sol here, we've got this big descent. We had this one little pop on indicator two, and now we're back into descent mode. So at this stage, I'm not looking to get long on Solana, even on a 4-hour time frame. The indicator two is starting to roll over bearish as well. To me, this looks like it could continue to go on for a while, and I don't know if it will or it will not. It very well could come down to these lows, take these kind of lows out here since they're relatively close together, and we get some sort of sweep of this. We get a reaction here, reclaim, and go as this turns back above, and we start to get some sort of positive momentum here. But for now, I don't know if it's going to get all the way down there. Could reverse from right here, to be honest. But all I know is right now, all the momentum in price is telling us we're looking for lower. So as far as a Solana short to midterm play, I wouldn't be looking at anything here. We can look at ETH as well. We see ETH really choppy, right? This has just been chopping. If we look on the daily, we can see that it makes sense that we get some chop. Why? We're in bearish territory on the price action indicator, and we have positive or green momentum on the momentum indicator. So we have these telling us different things. Most often, just like back here, we're below, we get some green. We're kind of looking at this sort of like rangy chop, maybe a little upside. Sometimes we get this positive green and we get a little rally, right? But typically it's just a bearish rally or a bearish consolidation that we're looking ultimately to get short again. That had been the case all the way through here, right? Every time up, chop, down, kind of looking at this and expecting the same thing. So I posted about this yesterday. We could see that happening here. I called that up here, said don't get too excited. And now it looks like things are transitioning lower. We can look on the hourly, and this is something where it's pretty fun to be able to have the indicator. And so once you guys have access to this, you'll be able to make some of these trades here. But looking at the 1 hour indicator, you can see you get a lot more opportunities to play some of these little rallies during that choppy period where we turn green. The bars are telling us that something's changing, and then we can start to look for getting long on the hourly, and then we just exit at the first sign of weakness, right? So could have played two of these little runs. I actually did end up playing this one here. Got out of that as this started to roll over, started to cross down below zero, and right there we lost that bar, and it's like, okay, get out, we're heading south. So there we go. That's how we would use the indicator on an hourly time frame, lower time frames, to avoid all this junk where you'd be trying to long, just getting liquidated over and over again. And you get to instead pick your spots, take your runs if you're a long only trader, know your exits. You could take more shorts, and you can start to capitalize on these smaller moves in a larger downtrending market. So once we get you guys access to this indicator, you'll be able to do this on your own, on your favorite coins and whatever it is you want to look at, whether it's stock market, whether it's crypto, Forex, and to be able to start to utilize this on whatever time frames you prefer to trade. So very, very fun, great tool to have. We want to get you guys access as soon as possible. But one thing that I was pretty clear with Andy about is I want to make sure that you guys have an understanding first, and I do enough of this education first so that you guys aren't just getting your hands on something that you don't really know how to use, like getting behind the wheel of a Ferrari when you have your learner's permit. You're gonna end up wrecking it. You're gonna ruin something beautiful and maybe harm yourself in the process. So we don't want to have any of that going on. We want you guys set up for success from day one. So enjoy these videos. We're gonna be putting them out. If you guys have questions or you want me to take a look at other random coins, I'll try to do that occasionally too. So hit us up in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the Discord.